Alright, we're taking a look at the R5 340X. We're running Metal Gear Solid 5 just to really see how it does. Our test bench is an i5 3470 and we have 8 gigs of RAM. I got this card for $35 and I just wanted to see how it would handle pushing various titles. Now the reason I bought this card was because I was donated a Dell Dimension by a friend that had been decommissioned. It used to be part of an office, and of course they took the hard drive and just got rid of it. Basically they were going to throw it away, but it's got a Core 2 Duo and 2 gigs of RAM, and I'd always seen videos of people making budget PCs, and I always really wanted to make a as cheap as possible sort of gaming oriented computer. And this has been a long time coming. I remember going to thrift stores and searching really hard for desktops, but the thing I really wanted was it for the PC to kinda be worth a damn. Like you could actually do some reasonable gaming on it. But I was always unlucky. I'd come across towers that had really old processors in them that were total garbage. But I knew when I saw this computer with a Core 2 Duo that I could at least make a League machine, which at the end of the day is what I really wanted to do with it. Thus entered this card. See, with this card I wouldn't have to upgrade the power supply at all, and I could just drop it right in. Now this was the cheapest, most powerful video card I could find that did not require me to have to replace the power supply in the Dell. And I had hard drives lying around, so that puts the total cost of this PC at $35. But I wanted to see what this little video card could do on its best day. If it had a decent processor and enough RAM, what was this card capable of? And honestly, I was a little bit surprised with it, because it could actually run the game at 1080p on high settings. Of course, it wasn't really that playable, but it could do it's the point. And this game could totally run Metal Gear Solid 5 at 720p, and it was playable, which is very surprising for a card that was only $35. Now you can find reasonably good PCs on Craigslist or eBay all day long for cheap. A PC with a good dual core or quad core processor and 4 to 8 gigs of RAM with a 7200 RPM hard drive, no problem, for fairly cheap. What those computers usually don't have is a good video processor, because most of them just have onboard video or a video processor that's built into the processor itself, the CPU, and a lot of the times they're not as good as a dedicated one. And for $35 with this card, you could override that and replace it with an even better one. You don't even have to replace your power supply. And with that, you would have a good starting gaming computer. Really to see if you like PC gaming, because a lot of people, they'll want to get into PC gaming and they think it's going to cost them $500, $600, $700 for a tower, and really you could just find you a little video card and drop it in a computer you already have and see if you like it, because you don't want to invest a lot of money in something if you don't even know if you're going to like PC gaming, because it's really not for everybody. I like it a lot, but even I have to admit that consoles have certain things going for them. Or another thing that people do is they will invest a lot of money into a good gaming computer and a really nice tower, and then they'll realize that they don't like PC gaming, or they don't have time for it, or it's not something they really want, and just becomes a computer collecting dust in the corner that never gets touched until they eventually try to sell it. And that's how those PCs wind up on Craigslist and eBay for so cheap. People basically taking something that they don't even use, just collecting dust, and try to make a little money off of it. They don't even care if they sell it for half of what it's worth, as long as they get money out of it, because it's not worth anything to them just sitting there. And some people, they just want a PC just to play certain PC games like League of Legends or Dota or World of Warcraft, and they just want to use their consoles for everything else. They don't need the computer to be super powerful. There's no sense in spending hundreds of extra dollars on computer hardware if you really don't need to, so something like this would be perfect for a League machine. This card can run League at max settings 1080p with a solid 60 frames a second, no problem. And then if you decide that you really like PC gaming, then maybe you could get more involved with it and working on getting a better build. Maybe you want to do 3-monitor gaming, or Oculus Rift, or 3D, or 4K, or 2K, or 2K triple monitor, or I don't know, I think I've seen 4K triple monitors, but Jesus Christ. Or you might want to do gaming at like really high refresh rates, like 144 Hz, which I used to have an ASUS monitor that was 3D, but I never used it for 3D. I only bought it for the 144 Hz refresh rate. And playing League of Legends in that was just crazy. Everything looked like just straight water moving. It was so beautiful. It was a game that had constant motion, just all kinds of crazy stuff always going on the screen, but there was zero motion blur. Like, you could get yanked from one side of the screen to the other, and you could see yourself 100% clearly. Just no motion blur. Everything was, the picture was always clear, no matter what. It was just amazing. It's an amazing experience, and that's just one thing consoles are never gonna get. They just can't keep up with PCs. Like, it's like so customizable, and there's new computer hardware released just about every year that's even better than the year before. And that's something consoles will never be able to do unless they make consoles that you can replace the parts in, or they release a new console pretty much every year. Because when you think about it, the 360, PS3, they were released in like what, 2006? That means that until here recently, whenever the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, you're pretty much playing your video games on like a 10-year-old computer. And that's why PC games were completely blowing consoles out of the water. Like, in side-by-side comparisons, just the graphics, like, it was literally a different game. Some games, it's just, and I got so spoiled. Like, I've been playing PC games for so long. Like, my friends would try to get me to play consoles, and just the refresh rate and the quality and just the lagging constantly, and the load times were so killer. And I just don't really like playing with a controller that much either. There's certain games, like shooters, definitely not. I do not like using a controller, but third-person games like Dark Souls. You know, a game like that's almost impossible to play without a controller. Any kind of third-person game, I always enjoy playing with a controller way more. Third person's always a little bit wonky with a keyboard and mouse. Sometimes I just like sitting back from my recliner and hooking up my computer to the TV and sitting in my couch and playing, which it's not always fun, you know, sitting up in a desk and clicking away at a keyboard. But PC gamers have been playing at higher resolutions and higher refresh rates and really high video quality with DirectX for years, and that's just something that consoles have totally missed out on. They never even made it to 2K, and 2K is beautiful. My current monitor is a 2K monitor at like 95 Hz refresh rate, and it's beautiful. It blows 1080p way out the water. Literally, with PCs, your gaming experience is as good as you want it to be. Having a decent PC is not only good for gaming, but literally everything else. If you never owned a good computer where you can have 50 tabs open when you're browsing the internet, if you needed to have 50 tabs open, or you've never been able to click on something on the internet and get to it immediately, or, you know, just whenever you start up your computer, it doesn't take 40 years in order for you to get to your desktop and actually get to functioning on your computer, get to a point where you're actually using your computer. It's just a wonderful experience, and I guarantee you, if you ever owned a decent computer, you would never have a poor one again.